welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to give you my thoughts on a new show on Hulu that premiered March 29th. It's called The Girl from Plainville. Apologies for this late video, but I wanted to be more caught up on some of the episodes and I wanted to watch the HBO Max documentary. It's called I Love You Now Die before I did a video on the story. The Girl from Plainville is a true story about Michelle Carter and her texting suicide case that basically says that she assisted Conrad Roy into killing himself. There are 8 episodes on the series, about 15 minutes each. It's basically an 8-hour movie. And I was thinking, does this story need to be retold? Was it necessary? And honestly, even though all the cast in the show is doing an amazing job, I felt at times I was watching a Lifetime movie. And nothing wrong with Lifetime movies. They know what they're supposed to do. They know their audience. But I just felt like The Girl from Plainville wasn't really worthy of a streaming service. I am excited though about The Staircase. It's coming out on HBO Max. It's also a true crime story. I watch it on Netflix. It's a 12-part series and each episode's about an hour, so it's long, but it's so good. And then they're gonna do a whole dramatized series with Toni Collette and Colin Firth. The interesting part about The Girl from Plainville on Hulu that's different than the documentaries, because in the documentary you see the text message that they were exchanging popping up on the screen, and on the series you see the 2 actors acting out the exchange dialogue together. I was a little misguided by the show though, because in the documentary we found out that Michelle and Coco, I'm calling him Coco because it seems like the family prefers for him to be called Coco instead of Conrad. Michelle and Coco barely ever met in person. I think they only met each other like 5 times. This case happened in 2014, and while I was watching the show, I did not know if she was found guilty or not guilty, but then mid-series I decided to watch the documentary. So spoiler alert, she is found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. She was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison, but of course that went down to 15 months and 5 years probation. This show is focused a lot on mental health. Even on the documentary, there's a doctor that testified, and he said that Michelle and Coco were not star-crossed lovers, they were drug-crossed lovers because they were both on medication. Elle Fanning, who's playing Michelle Carter, she's so excellent here. I'm such a big fan of hers. She's really diving into this role. She's portraying Michelle with such good balance. Like, she goes up and down. Sometimes you feel she's sincere and sometimes she's psychotic. There's a scene where she's standing in front of the mirror mimicking Lea Michele from Glee after Cory Monteith died, and she's singing that song, To Make You Feel My Love. And that scene was a pretty disturbing moment. Colton Ryan, who plays Coco, it's also fantastic here. He's really showing the struggles that Conrad had with depression. He can be full of life and a very capable person, but then go down this dark path in fighting his inner demons. We can also see that he's having such a hard time understanding why he feels the way he feels, why he's so sad, why he's so socially awkward. And I think that's a struggle that a lot of people who suffer from depression have. They just don't understand why they're so sad. To say the least, Colton and Elle, they really carry the show. They also have this really sweet chemistry between them. They show that Michelle and Coco's relationship was a lot more complex than we really know. That's why I think this case was so tough for both legal teams, especially because the law hasn't caught up with technology and our devices. Watching the documentary, it was a very difficult case to understand and pick a side. I thought at times that the show was being over dramatized for the sake of entertainment, but after watching the documentary, like, some of the crazy things that happened on the show, you're like, oh, that really happened. Michelle is very needy and seeks validation from people. She also tries so hard to be liked by her friends. We also see how much lack of information and resources these kids and their families had when it came to mental health. Like, the kid is depressed, they prescribed them pills, they switched the pills. Mom wanted Coco to go to therapy and the dad didn't want it to. Michelle and Coco, they start to rely on each other for support. Neither of them had the tools to help each other out and what they were going through. On the documentary, we learn about antidepressants and its side effects. Like Michelle, she was first on Prozac and then she changed it to Celexa, I think I'm pronouncing it right. And she had bulimia, she was taking those on an empty stomach, and that could cause all those side effects that the doctor pointed out. Some of those medications can change someone's emotions and behaviors when they even talk about them having nightmares and seeing the devil. Michelle, at times, she urged him to get help. She was a voice of support at times. I just think somewhere along the way, the wires got crossed and Michelle started to give him bad counsel, and that she had this misguided notion that it was what Coco needed and what she was doing was for his best interest. Watching the series, you start thinking, was she really evil and consciously knew what she was doing? Or did she think it was all an act of love? Was she really intoxicated by her medication or simply seeking attention? By the way, before I forget, I want to give props to the hair makeup team because they made Elle Fanning look like the spitting image of Michelle, especially during the trial scenes. I mentioned that the show is about mental health, but it's also about the blessings and curses of this technology that connects us, and also that sometimes people don't realize that words, they hold their weight. Especially now with social media. When I was watching the documentary and when they're getting closer and closer to her verdict, I kept thinking about social media nowadays. How many times you see people, trolls in the comments telling people, go kill yourself, your children should die. Are we gonna take all those people to court? Have we forgotten that even Chrissy Teigen told someone to kill themselves? That's what I meant when I said that the law hasn't caught up to technology and social media, because, okay, is it freedom of speech? Telling someone to kill themselves, it's a horrible, horrible thing. But like I said, are we gonna charge everyone in the internet that said something bad? I recommend The Girl from Plainville. It can be triggering to some people, I'll give that warning, and you might want to take a break here and there between episodes instead of binging it all. Let me know in the comments down below, have you heard of Michelle Carter's case? What do you think? Do you think she really assisted Coco's suicide? Or do you think he was fully responsible? Because he also, I didn't mention this, already had tried to commit suicide. If you like this video, please make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the little bell notification button so you don't miss any future videos, and I'll see you next time.